We have former federal prosecutor John Lauro here on the news deck. Good to see you, John.
Hello.
What is your sense? You've been saying privately that you think this is the most significant development in this investigation so far. Why?
It is, because it's obvious that he's facing some very serious charges, possibly dealing with his relationships with Turkey. There have been other speculations that he may have been involved in a kidnapping plot. We just don't know. But he's made a decision with his counsel to have some communication with the prosecutor about doing a deal and cooperating. The only way he's going to get a reduced sentence is by cooperating.
Right. But when you lay that out, when General Flynn is in legal jeopardy and potentially his son is in legal jeopardy,
yes,
might someone say almost anything to stay out of jail?
That's true, and that's what happens in the federal system. You don't get any points for exonerating someone. You only get points if you implicate someone and really try to get them prosecuted. So he has an incentive to spill the beans or say things that would implicate somebody else.
So then how will this work so that if, in fact, he cuts a deal with the special counsel, Robert Mueller, walk us through what happens from a legal standpoint, but then how does Mueller sort out whether or not it's true or bunk?
Well, first of all, what we know now is that none of this has to do with the campaign. That's very important. It has to do with other relationships that the general has had unrelated to the campaign.
His lobbying on Turkey and other matters.
Exactly.
Okay.
But the way it goes is this. The prosecutor comes to you and says, listen, I have the goods on your client. He's going to be prosecuted. You better make a decision. Come and cooperate, flip to our side, or we're going to go after you. We're going to go after relatives. It's going to get very nasty. Clearly, Flynn has made the decision that he has to go in and cooperate. We don't know, though, who he's going to cooperate against.
So then there's a proffer, right?
There's a proffer.
And that proffer lays out what he might say, and then how do they sort it out?
Well, the prosecutor wants to know that he's going to get some help.
Right.
So if the proffer is, I don't know anything about anything, then you're told, well, have a good day, I'll see you later.
Right.
So he has to give some goods in order to get some benefit.
But if he says, I can implicate the president, and I was the national security advisor, and in private, the president told me X, the special counsel has already spent weeks, months looking through emails and other documents. So then you run the traps and figure out, can we verify this?
And that's the critical question, because somebody going in who does a deal and there's no corroboration for what they're saying, they don't have much credibility. So the critical issue here is whether or not his statements can be corroborated by hard facts, because one day he's going to face a criminal defense lawyer in trial, and he better be telling the truth.
So contrast this with Paul Manafort, who's already been indicted. He's insisted he's innocent. But it seems to me a much different situation, because some of the alleged crimes date back to the mid-2000s. So the Trump people have been, and people inside the White House have been able to say, wait, this is a long time ago, number one. And number two, he was fired in the middle of the 2016 campaign, Manafort. In contrast, General Flynn was not just involved in the campaign. He got hired, quickly fired, but he was inside that White House in the early days.
Well, not only that, but he was there during the transition.
Right.
And it looks like Mueller is looking at facts relating to that transition period. So clearly Mueller has determined that he's an important figure. That's why it's significant that he's doing a deal.
But now let's go back to what one of your first points, which is that this is about General Flynn maybe not federally disclosing that he was lobbying on behalf of the government of Turkey, for example. What does that have to do with Russian collusion?
It has nothing to do, but that's why Mueller's investigation is going so far afield. Because what he's doing is picking people that have their own problems, like Manafort and Kelly, and saying, you better cooperate with me on the Russian investigation.
Doesn't that give more fodder to President Trump and his allies, that even if General Flynn says, I've got something, he's got something that maybe has nothing to do with Russia in 2016?
Absolutely. But the speculation now is that he has something on the campaign or something in the transition, because it's obvious that Mueller has determined that he's a very important figure in the investigation.
Right. So last question. Even if what is proffered in the early days from a legal standpoint is about Turkey and not about Russia, something could still lead back to Russia if, in fact, they start digging around with General Flynn, they go through other emails, they talk to other people.
Yeah, and let me be clear. We don't know at this point who he's cooperating against. It may relate to his Turkey problems.
Right.
But when that happens, when you go in and you're going to do a proffer, you're going to cooperate with the government, then you tell other defense lawyers, hey, I folded my cards, I'm out, I can't talk to you anymore.
Wait, so I misled you. One last question.
Okay.
That wasn't the last one. So when a lot of people are speculating in the media right now, this is going to lead to the Oval Office. He could implicate the president. He may implicate someone else inside the White House. He may try to implicate someone from the campaign, and it may end up having nothing to do with the president.
Absolutely. In fact, we don't know yet that the prosecutor has accepted his proffer. We don't know even if the prosecutor has determined that he's a credible guy.
There is a lot we do not know, but we appreciate you bringing the facts of what we do know. John Lauro.
Thank you.
Thank you.